it's pointy. Oh, yeah. And it's dirty, and it's damp, and it's probably soaking through my jeans right now. Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. We are recording, right? I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a Sunday Stuff and Things, and today you find me sitting on the butt rock. And now the sun is starting to come out, and my exposure is going to be all screwed up. Hold on, gang. This just isn't starting well. Let me try this. Let me do a little bit of this. I think that's about right. We're just gonna have to put up with it. Oh my Lord. Oh, the butt rock. Oh yeah, it's right up in there. Okay, and on this Sunday Stuff and Things, we have lots of stuff and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things you can look forward to on Stuff and Things, and working. Oh man, the sun is really gonna come out and it's really gonna blow my exposure. Stay one way or the other, sun and clouds. We have upcoming videos to discuss. We're going to talk about a little tragedy in the Stuff and Things family as I get buzzed by some sort of insect. Something happened to one of my gerbils, gang. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL so far, but we're specifically going to talk about as well my experience with Sutliff Silver Quarter, a new blend that was sent to me by Sutliff, part of their 175th anniversary celebration. We'll talk about that in the upcoming videos section. And then of course, we will have your questions, comments, and feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings. So let's get into it. All right, so what can you look forward to on Stuff and Things and working? Well, so the next video that we'll be posting on Stuff and Things will be pipes versus cigars, or pipes versus burning sticks, whichever you prefer. I just go over, I think, some of the pros and cons of each aspect of this hobby, and why I prefer one over the other. There's a dude placing crab pots out in the bay right now, and I can hear everything he's doing really loudly. It's weird how sound can kind of carry over water. After that, the next week, we're going to be doing the listening party Blondie Parallel Lines, their third album from 1978. I think a fantastic album. So last week I mentioned I was going to try to do this listening party series, and this first video was going to be sort of a tryout to see how YouTube dealt with the whole copyright thing. So I uploaded the video. I have it private right now because it's not ready to post, and it has been blocked in some countries. It can't be monetized, and I'm trying to figure out exactly, I'm disputing some of the copyright claims. Basically every single song, all 12 songs, have been copyright claimed, which, fair enough. They belong to Blondie. But I am alleging fair use because I'm pausing the songs, I'm commenting on the songs. It's not as though I just put the whole album out there for people to listen to on YouTube. So we'll see what happens with the dispute for fair use. As long as I can just post the video, even if I can't monetize it, which I didn't really think I would be able to monetize it. So even if I can't monetize it, as long as it will go out there and people can see it, I might do more episodes of the listening party, obviously seeing how you guys react to it as well. So I'll let you know. I think the video might be able to be played some places right now. We'll see what happens, but I'll keep you posted. And then after that, we are going to be doing a sort of review on Sutliff Silver Quarter. So this is another one of those blends that is a little bit limited. It's part of the 175th anniversary celebration for Sutliff. I already did the Old Boss, which I was okay about. This one I'm a lot more positive, and that is because it is a vapor. This is African Virginia with some Perique and a little bit of Cavendish. That little bit of Cavendish might throw me off sometimes, but I think it kind of works in this. I don't want to give away the whole video that I'll be posting in a couple weeks, but for a nice coin cut vapor, sort of reminiscent of Dunhill Deluxe Navy Flake, or just Navy Flake now, whatever they call it now, and then Stokkebye's Luxury Bullseye Flake. This slots in there really well, and it's definitely something worth checking out. So even before you watch the full video, know that I'd say right now I could recommend this as an interesting coin cut vapor. So pretty good stuff. I don't always love all the stuff that Sutliff sends me, but I definitely did enjoy. Ugh, can it be seen? I can't even tell on my screen. I definitely did enjoy Silver Quarter. So check that video out as well. And then we have working episode 37 that'll be posting. This episode shows a lot about kind of the logistical side of trying to organize concrete, trying to organize pump trucks, trying to get an inspection, all the kind of administrative things that go into pouring concrete that are kind of annoying. And then we pour a footing as well. So that'll be coming up this Friday. Stay tuned. And please, if you haven't yet, link in the description box below. Go to Working, subscribe to Working. It's really good. Really interesting stuff. All right, so I mentioned we had a little tragedy in the Stuff and Things family, and you guys ask about them all the time, but one of my gerbils has died. My good friend Conan the gerbil is dead. It was pretty sad. They're about 3 years old now, so I figured they were gonna be getting kind of to the end of their lifespan. And, you know, if you guys have been following the story of Conan and Subotai, my two gerbils, I got them 3 years ago. And Conan was the more kind of outgoing, gregarious gerbil. He liked food a lot. He ate a lot. He was always the first one out when I put my hand down there with their food. He was right there, ready to grab it. He didn't like the wheel as much. So Subotai was a little smaller and a little shyer. He was less likely to get up in my hand. I could pick him up and stuff, but he was just like freaked out the whole time. But he would be out there rolling on that wheel all the time, and he was really good at the wheel. He could just spin that thing, sometimes to the point where he would like fling himself out of it because he got it going so fast. So he jumps in, and he's just like going, and then suddenly you just see him go whoop and like fly out of the wheel. It's pretty hilarious. And then Conan would get in the wheel, and he's kind of like he's not great at it. He would try, but he was maybe a little overweight. And again, they're both very senior-aged gerbils. And last weekend, I think I was working on videos, editing videos and stuff, and I came out and Conan was just sort of like sitting out in the open, and they'll come out and they'll eat and they'll do things, they'll get on the wheel, but they don't usually just sit there. So I was like, is everything okay? I could see him breathing, his eyes were open. And I went down and I started petting him a little bit, and he didn't really move, he was just there. And so that worried me. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know exactly what's going on here, but it doesn't seem good. And I was about to go out and go walk around and take some photographs. And so I thought, okay, if I come back and he's still like this, then I will probably try to take him to the vet. And I went out. I was gone for maybe an hour, hour and a half. And when I came back, he had sort of worked his way into a little nook and cranny of the area. It's interesting that he didn't try to go back down into his little burrow that he shares with Subotai, but he was just out in the open, but kind of like shoved into between a rock and the wall of the cage, and he was dead. So I don't know exactly what he died of. I'm assuming, I mean, it's old age. He's very old. But yeah, he was gone. It was sad. It's nice, you know, especially when you live alone and you can't have dogs or cats. It's nice to have a little creature that relies on you, that you can sort of, I mean, there's so many other things that I build my day around, like responsibilities and rituals and things that I need to do, but having little creatures that need you to feed them and clean their cage and give them water and stuff and that you can interact with is nice. So Conan will be missed. He was a lovely little gerbil. Subotai is still alive and seems totally fine. I was wondering, okay, should I get another gerbil for Subotai? Because usually they need friends. They need to have someone to hang out with. But I thought, you know, Subotai is so old, he's probably not going to last much longer either. And then I'm going to have the same situation where I have to introduce another gerbil to the gerbil that I got to replace Conan. So I'm going to try to wait it out. I'm trying to pay attention to how Subotai seems, and he seems totally fine from what I can tell. I mean, they're not the most demonstrative animals in the world, but he's still eating, he's still playing on his wheel. Maybe he survived because he's very health conscious. Like he's always working out all the time. I don't know, but he's still going strong, so who knows? He could last another year, might only be a couple months, but I'll keep you guys posted. Okay, and just a quick NFL update. We've had 3 games so far, and the Seahawks are 3-0. They have not lost a game. Now, granted, they have not had any really tough competitors yet. They haven't really played against any really good quarterbacks, but they're going to be on Monday Night Football this week playing the Detroit Lions. And Detroit, they've been pretty good. There was one game in particular where Jared Goff just did not look good at all. And also Seattle, even though this was under Pete Carroll, they have won, like, I don't know how many games in a row against Detroit. So I'm cautiously optimistic that the Seahawks could get to 4-0. They're number 1 in the NFC West. Every other team in the NFC West is 1-2, which is fantastic. I don't know how long this can last, but I'm just enjoying it and I'm riding the wave. Other teams that I'm paying attention to, the Bills. I love Josh Allen. Josh Allen is so fun to watch. The Bills are 3-0. I'm hoping they keep that up. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. I think I said that the Jags would win their division. Certainly doesn't look like that right now, so we'll see what's going on. Trevor Lawrence just looks horrible. But yeah, the NFL's been interesting so far. Not super high scoring offenses this year. It seems like defenses have really stepped up. The passing game for a lot of teams just doesn't seem amazing. I kind of like this. It's sort of a rescheduling. Everyone thought that offense was just going to dominate forever now, and obviously things adjust. Defenses adjust, and I think the games to me are more interesting than just these offensive slugfests that we used to get the last few years. So yeah, cautiously optimistic about the Seahawks. It's been fun, and I can't wait to see him on Monday night. All right, gang, but now it is time for hashtag, oh man, got seaweed juice all over this. Hashtag askstuffandthings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, you can tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag askstuffandthings. You can write to me via Patreon if you are a Patreon supporter and go right to the front of the line, or you can leave questions, comments, and feedback. Oh, you can hit the super thanks button under this YouTube video, go right to the front of the line, or you can leave questions, comments, and feedback in the comment section of my YouTube videos. Just like our good friend and Patreon supporter Ryan McFadin did, feedback for last week's Sunday Stuff and Things, Ryan says, "Can't wait for the listening party segment. Hopefully the YouTube gods will be kind to you when it comes to monetization." Yeah, so we talked about that. I doubt I'll be able to monetize the video, but if I can just show it to you, I'll probably be happy with that. So definitely check it out. If it does work, please watch. Next, at Kenjiro5775, I would wager that both you and I have seen sentence diagramming in school. Not sure if parts of speech are still being explicitly taught. I feel your pain. So I was talking about what I was calling past participle. We're going to have a correction on that soon, but just the lack of proper grammar in... See, things... Well, we'll get into this with other comments, but some people think I'm really pedantic and I'm very severe about people using improper grammar. It's just in certain circumstances, but we'll get into that. At Blake's Pipe says, "I would drive you nuts. My wife would correct me all the time. If me using the wrong language, comma, you would drive me nuts correcting me." Okay, I could correct some things there at Blake's Pipes. I call it Blakelish, had it all my life. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point I was going to make, is that I don't go around correcting people. I don't do that. And I will use, quote, improper grammar in situations where I'm being more casual. Like, I don't mind that at all. But there are certain situations where if you are presenting a show, for example, I would assume that you would have proper grammar, or at least a working knowledge of grammar, even if you're going to subvert the rules every once in a while. At Saranakadikataka 1999 says, "Thanks for the excellent content. Languages do evolve. Unfortunately, it seems they also devolve. Are we pedantic for identifying errors? I don't think so. Ideas are most effectively shared through precise language. Nails on chalkboard for me is gifted." I guess using that as a verb. The word is an adjective used to describe someone talented, not a verb for the act of giving or receiving a gift. Oh, I gifted him this. Yeah, I mean, that... See, some of the stuff, the usage, and it's just whatever annoys you, but I see what you mean. If its use as a verb added some nuance, it might be a useful addition to the lexicon. I just don't see what it does, or that it does. Yeah, and I see that. I get irritated by addicting when we have a perfectly good word, addictive, which is what you should be saying. Things are not addicting, they are addictive. But I can understand that that usage is changing, and most people say addicting now. Gifted, I don't know. I don't get too annoyed about these things normally. I think people think I do. At Frederator 4951 says, "Where you at?" bothers me. See, again, I don't mind that. There are situations where I might go up to being like, hey, where you at? Like just being funny or being casual. I think that's okay. I think it's also, people call it code switching, and I do find that kind of annoying if you have a political party or a political candidate going into like the NAACP and trying to speak as though they're black or something. I find that annoying when they don't actually talk that way. But I definitely change my language. If I'm on a construction site and I'm talking to like a concrete driver, I'm not going to use precisely the same grammar and vocabulary that I do when I'm speaking to you, for instance. But anyway, I don't mind where you at. I kind of like it. At Executor Carrid, and I think this is just our good friend Executor, but these weird at names on YouTube are strange now. In the spirit of being pedantic, the misused verb tenses you're annoyed with. Okay, this is good. This is what I was looking for. The misused verb tenses you're annoyed with are not past participles. They're present perfect tense, e.g., I have seen that, and past perfect tense, I had seen that. Thank you. That's exactly the term I was looking for, and I couldn't remember it. A past particle is not a tense, but rather a past tense verb form used as an adjective, e.g., a beaten game or a completed work. Yes, thank you. So I do hear people not using the past participle when they should be in those circumstances, but the present perfect and the past perfect tense are what I was looking for. I love your sentiment, though. I, too, find the misuse annoying. Thank you very much, Executor. And next, at Ashes of the Phoenix, 4605, I'm the same way when it comes to playing video games. If I'm depressed, I won't play because I can't seem to concentrate on the game. Besides that, are you excited about the Switch 2? Are you going to get one when it comes out? Probably. I probably won't get one right away, but that, of all the consoles that might come out in the future, like PlayStation 6, whatever, I think the Switch 2 is the one I would definitely get, opposed to all the other ones. And then at Big Earn Bladesmith says, quit bragging. For the majority of us folks over 40, getting out of bed hurts. But honestly, there's a whole discussion as to the reason why that is. Or yes, reasons why that is. Yes, reasons as in plural. I don't think it's any one thing that causes the breaking down of a human body, though age does play a role. Definitely, and obviously age plays a role, but I think what compounds it and what really leads to people's bodies seeming to disintegrate when they get older, and I'm talking about in your 40s. Obviously, when you're getting into your 60s and 70s and stuff, age is really going to start catching up with you. But I think people just get so less active when they get older for whatever reasons, just different responsibilities, family things, job. They're not being as active as they were back when they were younger, and so their body doesn't maintain the same level of performance. I think if you're active, you can stave off a lot of the supposed ravages of age. At WS Timo says, tea with a dash of milk. Fantastic. Mind you, I've never drunk a decent cup of tea abroad. Don't get me started on flavored tea. Us English are brought up on tea. And yes, I know. I know that English people love tea. And I've had tea that I like, but as far as just an overarching category, tea versus coffee, I will pretty much always choose coffee. At Ledger and Lace says, I think when you grow up drinking tea, it's hard to explain to someone who didn't that it's more than just a drink, especially if you're British. PG Tips was my very proper English mother's favorite. It's like the coffee of teas, very strong. I've had PG Tips. And best with milk and sugar. It's called Builder's Tea. Or it's called Builder's Tea with milk and sugar. Regarding the Goo Goo Dolls, we'll have to agree to disagree. You kind of threw in a Pearl Jam vibe with your rendition, though. That could be a new segment, a rendition of songs from viewers' favorite bands. Oh, do The Cure next. I hate Pearl Jam, and I will make fun of Pearl Jam whenever I think of Pearl Jam. Like, just the... that kind of vocal, fingernails on chalkboard for me. I have always hated Pearl Jam when they were first popular. I lived in the Pacific Northwest in the 90s. I loved Nirvana, hated Pearl Jam, loathed Pearl Jam. Don't ever get me started on Pearl Jam. Anyway, yeah, it would be fun to do renditions of songs. I actually like The Cure. Boys don't cry. Anyway, we also have some feedback on rediscovering the DS Lite. At TheZilla777 says, so many good games from that era, and I agree. At Tommy Hale says, I never had the DS Lite, but I inherited my sister's DS Original when she and my younger brother got the DS Lite. Why'd your younger brother get the DS Lite, but you had to get the old DS? I definitely liked the sleekness. I think sleekness is what you're going for, of the DS Lite more, but the original was good enough for 7-year-old me. There's this one RTS called Lego Battles that my brother and I would play all the time. Good times. Lego Battles, that's interesting. I've never heard of that, but an RTS on the DS, I guess that would work. I didn't have very many DS games back in the day, and I don't have very many now, but there's such a huge catalog of games. And then at Smashing Artful, I had a Game Boy Color that I absolutely loved. Now I want to try a DS Lite. You should. Like I said, they're only about like 40 or 50 bucks on eBay. Not bad at all. The games can be a little more expensive though, but you could find some repros occasionally that are cheaper. Okay, gang, thank you so much for all that feedback. Please keep it coming in, but now it is time for the very best part of the show, and that is where we thank our Patreon supporters. Remember, if you would like to support the channels, there is a link in the description box below to our Patreon, and it is much appreciated. It's basically the only reason I can keep doing this show. It helps pay for pretty much everything that I do on this channel, and it helps offset the fact that I can't monetize most of my videos on YouTube. So your support is extremely appreciated, and like I said, there is a link in the description box below if you would like to join the producers. You don't have to pay as much as these guys. These are the ones that are really throwing the money down, but if you want to put in $2, $5, that would be fantastic as well. But the producers are shouted out every week. People who support the channels at $25 or more a month. People like Glenn Dunnington, Jason Buckner, Arcturus, Ashes of the Phoenix, Jonathon Proctor, Conco Clem, Charles Mowers, and the Friendly Piper. And of course, the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month, people like Bob Magee and Ryan McFadin. And we'll never forget our dearly departed friend and Hall of Fame member, Peter Straub. Gang, thank you so much for watching this week. Please stay tuned for all the good stuff we have coming up. All the videos I mentioned that will be coming up in the upcoming videos, and then I've got other stuff going on. Someone, a nice viewer, is sending me a cool notebook, like a leather journal, Midori-like leather journal. I'm gonna be checking that out soon. I think I've got some boots on their way. A company contacted me. I think they're a Mexican boot maker, and they wanted to send me some boots. So that could be a few weeks until I get my hands on those, but I'm interested to show those to you as well. Lots of good stuff coming up, maybe more of the listening party videos, we shall see. And of course, all sorts of different pipe blends will be highlighted in the future. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a Sunday, Stuff and Things. I'll see you later, and RIP to our good friend Conan the Gerbil. You'll be missed.